Breaking news. As the protesters grow in number and the election for the Democratic candidate draws near, we have exclusive coverage on recent protests, the position of two frontrunners, and a vice president pick of one of the candidates. You're watching CBS News. I was able to speak with some of the protesters about who they would like to see as the Democratic candidate.
I'm Dan Rather with CBS News. I'm outside the convention hall of the Democratic National Convention, and I'm here with David Dellinger of the Mo. Mr. Dellinger, who are you and the other protesters hoping is the presidential candidate for the Democratic Party?
The vast majority of us are in favor of Senator Eugene McCarthy. We believe that a lot of his stances, especially on the Vietnam War, align with our beliefs. Just in general, he tends to have more liberal approaches that we're in favor of, and we can see him being a good person. He's even spoken with us specifically about what we went to see, which is very nice of him.
Are there any things that you specifically dislike about the other candidates that are running?
I mean, in general, obviously, we're not the biggest fan of the establishment, but in particular, a lot of them are not for the war on poverty or civil rights, which are things that are very important to us in addition to the Vietnam War.
I had a chance to speak with Senator McCarthy after a brief recess.
I'm here in the convention hall with Senator Eugene McCarthy, one of the frontrunners of the presidential nomination for the Democratic Party. Senator McCarthy, you seem to have the support of most of the protesters outside of this convention right now. Can you speak as to why you think this is?
Thank you for that question. I believe that I have the support of the protesters outside because I represent their values the most, more than Vice President Humphrey. One thing that we have in common is that we do not like what is going on in Vietnam. We would like to de-escalate, and unfortunately that was not our option.
What would you say about today's decision to maintain our stance in Vietnam by the Democratic Party?
I am very saddened by that. I believe that it was the wrong issue, but honestly, I am happy that we are not increasing what is going on. As long as we do not increase the amount of lives that are lost, that will make me happy.
And what do you think the biggest issues facing this nation today are?
I think right now our biggest issue is division among the party, among our country, among our citizens. I mean, you have protesters outside, and a lot of them are radical, to be honest, and because they fight for what they believe in, but a lot of the country is not like that.
And what do you think, as a candidate, you bring to the table that Vice President Hubert Humphrey does not?
Well, I'm more of a peaceful man, so I supported de-escalation. He was more maintaining. I believe I am more in touch with the American public. I mean, approval rate of our war, it keeps steadily declining over time, and that's based on the American people's decision. And so I believe that is one thing I have over him, is the support of more Americans.
And if you were selected as the presidential nominee, who would you choose as your vice president? Or who are potential people you are thinking about as a vice president?
One man I am considering is Senator Muskie.
Senator Muskie agreed to speak with me to discuss running for vice president.
I'm Dan Rather with CBS News, and I'm currently outside of the convention hall with Senator Edmund Muskie. Senator Muskie, you are considering running for the vice president position in the Democratic National Convention. Can you speak a little bit on this?
Yeah, so with Senator McCarthy announcing his nomination and delegation that he's running for president, I believe that I would be best to be his vice president during this election, as we share many of the same values, and also I hope together we stand the best chance of defeating Nixon.
The convention was briefly halted when protests erupted.
I'm Dan Rather. Outside of the convention hall, a massive group of protesters has just been arrested. A march has just been organized outside of the convention hall. All of the protest members that took place were arrested and brutally cracked down. We'll have more word on you in the coming days.
Mayor Daley could not be reached for comment on the forceful way he decided to handle these protesters. Interestingly, Senator Carl Albert was seen fraternizing and speaking with many of the protesters. I was once again able to speak with Vice President Hubert Humphrey about his presidential campaign.
I'm here in the convention hall with Vice President Hubert Humphrey, here to talk to him about his running for presidential candidate of the Democratic National Party. The protests outside the convention seem to favor Senator McCarthy as the presidential candidate. Can you speak as to what you will do to appeal these people and appeal to all of the American people?
Sure. I think that it's important to note that the protesters do not represent all of the American people. They are definitely a minority. They are an important minority, but it is important to note that they are not the majority of the American people. So within the general population, I do have the majority of the support within Democrats. I have several years of experience in the White House under the Johnson administration, an administration that has thus far supported infrastructure, civil rights, the war on poverty, and many other platforms. And I have tons of experience knowing how to implement these policies to better America.
Who are some people, if you were chosen as presidential candidate, that you are considering as vice president for your administration?
I have several people that I'm considering. I definitely have one, maybe two that are at the forefront of my mind. I'm not ready to announce them right now. I do have a plan to announce them, but it is not going to happen right now. As of
Okay,
yet.
wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Vice President.